this Monday. I said, okay. And so I went forward and I led from my heart. And everyone said, wow, that was so great, because it was like a different perspective, and you see things differently than Monica. And that was where I learned I need to share my voice. That I have a voice, and it's not the voice that you all want to hear. It's the voice that's in my heart, and it's the voice that gets to share my 44 years of experience, what I've learned, and what I guess just share. And so I'm so excited to be up here, with Monica today. And now, co-leading. I've been on every call, I've been supporting every call, and I've had that quiet voice, and I'm so excited now to be able to step forward and share a little bit more and co-leading.
And just so you know, the cool thing for me being here with you, just so you guys get a sense, like this is brand new for us too, is it's exactly what is available for all of us. Is you at the beginning had these voices, and I'm standing here, we know each other so well, but I also hear some of that conversation and chatter that's going on inside of you, and I'm, like, you got this. Inside of me, I'm saying, you got this, you're good, you got this, you got this, you got this. So energetically, he's not feeling any pressure whatsoever. And then he got to that place, you saw it, he I'm here. And he started sharing from his heart, not from the robot. And all of a sudden, who you are and your gift, the thing that is the very thing that they want, or what people want, or what connects you to people on the planet, came. Just because you were you. And that's what each of you bring. Each of you has that beautiful part that's like shiny and yummy and incredible, and it's the thing that people have complimented you for over and over, that you're like, yeah, I heard that before. Or, no, that's not really, I know that comes easy to me, or I know that. And it's like, we push it away so fast, but it's the very thing that makes you who you are. It's the very thing that gives you the confidence when you go into a conversation. So, thank you for being willing to hear the voices and show up anyway. Awesome. It's really awesome. It's a great example of how to just, show up. So moving in a new direction. So I'd love to get a couple of people to share a little bit about what you got out of LBW. And what we're going to do is I'm going to coach you through your sharing. Because the intention is for you to get a sense of what would it be like to be in this program. And there are going to be some of you tonight who already know that you want to register, and we're going to get that handled at the end, and it's no problem. Those of you that have questions, that need a little bit more information, I'm also going to be here after we're done tonight to answer some of those questions, as well as I want to give a big round of applause to Rachel, my operations manager. Most people never get the chance to meet her. She's just this beautiful voice on the phone, like handling all of the concerns and dealing with all of the necessities that need to get done, and so here you get her in person. So thank you for being here, for all that you do. And then, like I said, in just about 15 minutes, we're going to start hot seat coaching. So be thinking for yourself as you've been here this evening, all the voices, all the things. Like I noticed you right there. Will you stand up for just a second? Yep, you. No, Holly, the person in front of you, the guy with the blue shirt. Yeah. What's your name? Tanner. Hi, Tanner. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Awesome. So I'm noticing the voices in your head a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I would love to invite you to just share one of them.
I'm excited to learn because I realize that I connect with Jan because he's more not very heartfelt. not that, but
It's all good.
When you said that you're organized and you're a project manager, and I was like, I can do all that, but and when you're having conversations, your eyes are connecting. I'm like, I can't. That's not me at all.
Not yet, right?
Not even a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's my voice.
So it's beautiful because what I noticed, and if you feel uncomfortable looking at me, that's totally fine.
No,
You can
I'm
look
good.
around. Okay, good. So a couple of things. One of the things I noticed is when we feel uncomfortable, we tend to look around to get agreement. We want someone else who feels like we feel to like be our person in the room. Like, right? But when we don't get it, we feel really alone. We feel really solo, if you're really like possibly lost or floating, let's just say. And so sometimes you might have the experience of leaving a conversation in the middle of it because you're in your head having the chatter in your mind. And by the way, I have that too. But what I've done is I've really allowed myself to say to those voices that like to come and share things with me, thank you so much. I do this all inside, okay, but I'm going to do it outside for you to see it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. Now's not the time. We'll get to you later. And I literally like ask it to go. And it's a very quick process because I've honed it over years and years and years and years. But I just want you to know it's totally no problem that that's how you feel about it. And what I invite you to do is find the part of you that, the excited part probably, that excited part that feels like I have something to give here. And if you stand inside of a place where you feel totally separate and totally alone with that, I have something to give here, let me find it, then the time you spend in the room connecting with the conversation to find it will be what you leave with, as opposed to leaving with all the voices in the head that kept you away. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's hear your hands. One of the things that I've trained myself to do, and so the reason I tell you this is, so there are certain things that I am born with. I have some very unique gifts. And I didn't know that I had the gifts until some very traumatic, very difficult things in my life happened. Very traumatic. And I actually have a book coming out relatively soon. And in the book, I tell my story, my big trauma story. So stay tuned. But the reason that I have developed these gifts is the trauma caused me to see the world completely differently. I was in a very severe accident, and it caused me to literally see the world different colors, totally see the world differently. And as a result of that, it developed my intuition in a very different way than I had ever known I had it. So why we laughed earlier about me being right is I lived a life thinking that I was broken, thinking that I was wrong, and thinking that I never measured up. I had a German father who said, you're only a success if you're one of 4 careers. A pilot, a doctor, you have your MBA, or you're a lawyer. That was it. And if you're not any of those 4, then you failed. So I guess I failed. So I developed that experience of I have to prove to my father that I'm good enough, even though I'm not those 4 things, in order to be loved. And it went even deeper than that. Then it became in order to be lovable to anybody on the planet and to have any value whatsoever. And as a result of that constantly searching to get approval, I developed, well, if I'm right, I can never be wrong. And then people will like me. Didn't go so well for me. It almost caused a divorce, had a lot of my friends leave me, it had a lot of pain and suffering attached to it. And so as a result of that, I started honing the skill after the accident. I started honing the skill of listening to people. Not just what they're saying, but what they're not saying. So when I'm in a room, Tanner, it's not just like randomly that I picked you out of the room. I'm watching everything that's happening in the room. I'm in the room. I'm in your experience with each of you so that I can connect to the part of you that isn't here. That connect to the part of you that gets scared when you're in an environment where you don't necessarily know what's going on or what's happening next or who's next to me or what's safe or what's not. And my number one goal is to have people be seen because you each matter. And if I skip over Tanner, who wasn't feeling like all of a sudden Tanner's here, right? All of a sudden you're here. Before you were bouncing all over the room like you just landed. It's so beautiful to see, and it's such a gift to me because then I get to interact with you and you get to matter. And then when you leave here and you get to share about your experience, you'll be sharing from a place of I'm valuable. I have something to share. What do you have to share? I'm excited to hear about you too. Because all of a sudden you matter too. It's so great. But if we don't value that inside of ourselves, we forget and we skip it and we miss it. And we float through life instead of ground ourselves and be present through life.
LBW.
Yes, so let's talk about LBW. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So is there anyone so who would love to share? Well, you had asked a question. Okay, I'm good. So who would love to share something that they got out of LBW? Like a nugget, and action stuff. All right, who was first? Yeah, go ahead. And say your name first, please.
Stand up, please.
Yes, sir.
My name is Gerald.
Gerald.
Um,
Let's give a big round of applause. So Gerald, before you start speaking, so one of the things when I work with people, like most of the time, I have people stand up and give people a standing ovation, and here's why. Because when you acknowledge a person for standing up, you acknowledge they matter. And it's such a nice, beautiful thing to know it, because we always overlook ourselves first. That's what we tend to do. That's our natural way of being. So in a group of people, when you acknowledge someone for standing, you acknowledge their existence, and all of a sudden they can matter, and I guarantee that the way they share shifts. Because all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, I'm here. Now what they're sharing has a different value. So I just encourage you to think about, how do you want to acknowledge people and allow them to be here in the room with you? Okay, Jared, go for it.
when Brad was talking about the story when his upline told him to call and talk to Mark Hughes and tell him, when they went on the trip that he wanted to talk to him about how to get the presidency. And different steps that he went through, but then when he got to the end, he said, his upline told him, it wasn't really about you talking to him, it was about you overcoming your fear and actually, moving in spite of it. And that just landed with me, because I know that there are some things within, my business and the way that I conduct myself, that I know that it's fear that has me not doing certain things. And to just hear someone that's on stage that has, that overcame his fear, and to see where he is right now, it's really encouraged me that he can do it, that I know I can do it.
Right, don't.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Can I put this in my words? Face my fear? Is that pretty accurate? Okay, so what's one action that you're going to take this week to have that transform?
More face-to-face.
And what is the condition of the face-to-face that you're going to now create? What will be different now than your face-to-face in the past?
It will actually happen, and it will be consistent instead of just.
So, hold on. So you guys listen to what I'm asking him. How is his face-to-face going to be different? What's the first thing that he did? What did you say? Okay, he said, What does that tell you? Yeah, so confidence or fear, great certainty. So, would your guess be that probably why he doesn't do face-to-face so much is because that's in the way first? The that he said is what he feels inside. So what's one thing that you can do this week that's going to handle that part of it before you go into this? Do you get how different that is?
Yes.
So what your solution was is, I learned to face my fear. So now I'm going to go out and have all the confidence in the world, and I'm going to go up to you and I'm just going to, hi, I'm going to have a great conversation. It's going to be so great because I know I'm going to face my fear right now. It's not going to happen. Because the first thing that happens is, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to you. Oh my God, she's looking at me. Right? She looks way too hot. I can't talk to her. Right? There will be all the conversations that have been there in the past that will have facing your fear not happen again. So what I need to know is, if face-to-face is what you're going to do, that's the action, perfect. But what's going to be what you get to learn, how you get to learn, what you're going to do before you go do this to get ready. To see yourself differently. To say, oh my gosh, I feel really scared, and she looks like she's looking at me, but I know what I'm going to say first. And oh my gosh, her nails are orange, and I love that color. Hi. I'm really excited to talk to you. It's so nice to meet you. What's one great thing that's happened to you today? Awesome. So, thank you for letting me. I'd love to share something. Yes. It's like all of a sudden you get out of your world. And it's not going to go like that, obviously. But you get out of your world. So what's going to be the thing that supports you to keep going even though the voices are going?
Have find that. I
Great.
really don't know.
Okay, great. So, who don't you know in this room?
I don't know right now.
Okay, so can you come up here for a second? Rachel, will you come here for just a second? So stay right there. Stay right there. So you're going to go and talk to Rachel. Okay? And while you walk from where you are to where Rachel is, I want you to say out loud what's going on inside. Ready?
As I walk through?
Yes. Ready?
I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Keep going. And what else? Like, do you feel anything about the people in the room? Do you feel like nervous? Is it weird? Oh my gosh, I'm about to go talk to this stranger. I know that I'm supposed to do something. I don't know if I'm going to do it right. I don't know if I'm going to do it wrong. Is this okay? Am I okay? Oh my gosh, what if I do it wrong? I'm going to look like a fool. Any of that?
Some of that, yes.
Okay, great. So why don't you share just some of what it was?
Well, oddly enough, I wasn't really thinking about them at all until you said that. But, but yeah.
So wait, that's part of this. He deletes what he wouldn't want to deal with. So he deleted all of you, which why is that not great? Don't you know him? Don't you support him? Wouldn't you love him? Would you be like, Gerald, you got this. Let's go. Oh, my God, he didn't even ask for help. It wasn't even a consideration. Who's the closest person to you in this room? Not proximity, friend. Relationship, closest relationship.
Oh, come on.
Now he's got his programming going again. Come on. All right, Kyra. So, now Kyra, now you know Gerald gets uncomfortable face to face, yes?
Yeah.
And now you know that he has a bunch of conversations that he has in his head while he walks over to a pretty young lady named Rachel. Okay? So, you talk with him about his concerns as he walks up to Rachel and get him ready.
Okay.
And do it slowly so that you can actually have the dialogue. But talk out loud so everybody knows can hear it. Are you ready? Go.
Get Kahuna. Yeah, just take your time with it. Think about it 2 minutes versus 1 minute. You've done this before. Key to peace.
That's right. That's
Like
right.
you got it.
Yeah.
Acknowledge your toes. Acknowledge your toes.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So do
So
I.
now you get to talk.
Oh, your toes are beautiful. Did you just get your nails done?
Thanks, I got it a while ago.
Yeah?
Thank you for noticing.
What's your name?
Rachel.
My name is Gerald. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hurry up.
I'm doing just fine. Really quick, I'm a health coach, and I just wanted to tell you a quick story about myself and just explain something to you. I got crazy results off of my nutrition program, so I'm super excited about sharing it. I gained 5 pounds of lean muscle, dropped my body
Stop
fat.
that. Love you. Great. Awesome. Give Gerald a big round. You can go back with him. Thank you so much, Kyra, for helping. Not yet. No. Sorry, no. All right. So number one, how did you guys feel when he was talking to her? No comment about content, just about how you felt. Lindsay,
He kept speaking and wouldn't let her
how did
respond.
you feel? How did you no comment about content? How did you feel when you watched it? Did you feel comfortable? Did you feel at ease? Did you feel uncomfortable? What did you feel? You felt nervous. Great. Tanner, what did you feel?
I felt uncomfortable for him.
Okay, uncomfortable for him.
I felt very proud of them for stepping up. and
Very proud of him, okay? By the way, that's really great to know because look at your response to that. So now when you know that you're nervous, you want mothering. You want someone to feel proud of you. Did you see how different that was? Okay, good. So next, what were you going to say?
It was disengaged. Like,
You felt a little disengaged. Okay, great, yeah? Marilyn?
I just felt excited because I have that same fear for him to do it. I'm like,
Okay, so you're like, oh my gosh, I learned something, it's great. Okay, good.
just protected for him.
Protected, yes.
he was comfortable, but he wasn't sure. Like,
No, what did you feel?
confident. I felt like he was confident.
What did you feel?
I was confident.
No, you're talking about It's a deflector, guys. You just learned something about him. It's a deflector. Don't tell me what you feel. I'll tell you what I see out there. Okay, so when you're sharing about what you feel, it would be like, he did that. So what did you say about him? So you thought he was confident. And how that made me feel was happy. Great, excellent. See the difference? One is talking about him, and the other is talking about your experience. Right, excellent. So, that's important feedback for you. When you go up to someone, if they feel like they're uncomfortable about it, there's some resources out here that can say, you know, your body positioning, you kind of went up and you were kind of really close to her. When you were looking at her feet, like there wasn't really a lot of breathing room. Or, you know, you kind of went into your story right after you told her about her toes, and it kind of felt like you were more interested in telling her about you than you were about finding out about her. You know, so there's these little teeny things that can just shift how she experiences it now. Where do you think some other information might be? Where would you learn more about what just happened? Who else could you ask? Right, so not if she's a stranger. You're gonna be like, so could you give me some feedback on how I invited you? Oh, come down to the Fit Club next week. But since you know her now, Rachel, how did it feel for you?
It's a little fast. Hopefully just slow it down. That's part of the nerves. But once you slow down, it would flow better. Like maybe the toes going into your conversation would flow a little better. You would have been more relaxed. Slow it down.
Perfect. So let me ask you a different question. What's one question you'd be interested to know about Rachel?
Does she have any health goals? In reference to this or just in general?
In general. So you see her, she's on the street, you're going to go talk to her, she looks relatively fit, you know, she looks like she might already work out, she looks like, you know, attractive, someone you might find attractive or not, I don't know what your preferences are, but, so, you guys see what I'm doing? I'm getting him comfortable. I'm taking him out of his head. I'm having a small talk. See, Kyra pumped him up for something. So he moved him too fast into a place where he's already uncomfortable. What I'm doing is getting him comfortable. He's with me right now. He's not even thinking of, I'm doing exactly what I'm asking Kyra to do. You get that?
Yes.
You thought that I was just talking to him. I'm getting him ready to talk to her. Okay? You see how different you feel about it? One was like, come on, let's go! Oh yeah!
Right, exactly.
Hey! I want to work out with you, come on! Like, whoa, I gotta get my nails done. Again. Okay? So great. So what would be something you'd be interested to know?
What do you do for fitness? Because you look like you're in pretty good shape.
I go to the gym
Okay. Cool. So when you work out, do you usually do cardio? Are you lifting weights?
a lot of cardio usually. Yeah.
So what are you? And when you're doing your cardio, what are your goals?
I just maintain, but I would like to be more clean.
Okay.
So cut. Perfect. So, go back to your seat. Yeah. So before you
do it.
keep standing. Not done yet, but I just want you to be back with people. No, not all of you.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now let's go back to the question I asked. So now you had had an experience of this question, right? Now I'm not just asking you a question, audio learners. Now he had a feeling, kinesthetic experience of what I just asked him. What is face-to-face? So what would be the thing you do before face-to-face to get you ready to do more of this so you can face your fears?
Pay attention to the person I'm getting ready to talk to.
Awesome. Anything else?
Look for different things about them that will help with my question.
Okay. I'm going to put it in my words. Do I have permission to do that? So pay attention. And my voices. Pay attention to those voices. You can let them go until later when you don't have the person you want to be invited in front of you. Pay attention to the person. Look for things about them that will guide the conversation. And you don't have to have any answers. Oh, guide. The next question you asked her was based on the answer she gave, not on the answer you want to give. Do you see how easy it was for him to answer the question now that he had the experience of it? That is powerful leadership. That's how we want to groom our coaches. That's how we want to support our clients. That's what we want to give away to them. Because when they feel confident that they can't do it wrong, and when they feel like it's simple, and when they feel like I can do it, and when they see they can actually do it, oh my gosh, all of a sudden the answer's right there. They always had it. He had it all along. He knew this. You just didn't have access to it yet. Good?
Great.
Do you want to add while he's standing, or can he sit?
You can sit.
Awesome.
Sit.
One more time.
So often, I mean, how many people came back from LDW with like amazing notes and like they're so inspired and just ready to go, right? Right? Almost everybody. And so often what happens is, okay, we just got this and we just learned this and now we're ready to go. So obviously, so face my fear. Now, if you were to really ask yourself, did you already know that one way of growing is by facing your fears? Right? So Monica said that you all have all the resources, you have all the information, you have all the knowledge that you need in order to really create whatever you want. And often what happens is we hear things and it's like a reminder. Okay, yeah, that's what I have to go do. And what happens often is we get that and we get to go, we want to go and be in action, but we're still that same person who heard that, who was stopped by the fears before. So some of the work that we do in the next level is just asking questions. And it's like, so what are the questions? So the first one is like, so what is the next step? And often people's next steps are really big, but literally like the next step is, okay, the next step is I'm going to just go talk to someone. But then it's like, okay, but now I know when I go talk to someone, I may be nervous. Just like the example that Monica just, that we just saw. So it's like, well, what do we need to learn in order to be more effective? Okay, great. So now I know there's something I need to learn. What is it that I can learn? Well, what resources do I have? So that's why Monica said, talk to Kyra, talk to Tanner. And so these are the processes that we do after every big event on the next level. We have a just got back conversation where we all share, a lot of people share what they learned, but then in order to really process that, in order to have it be really effective, a lot of people are just ready to go. We take a step back and we breathe. And we say, okay, great, we're ready to go face our fear. So now, what do I need to learn to really get through this, to really grow? What are my resources? And then for all of you who are on the call at the same time, it's like, wow, so this is what he got out of it? What are 3 things, like listening to that conversation, that didn't pop for me, but obviously that's valuable. What are 3 things that I can do this week that I'm afraid of? That I know, like so all of you right now, you can take a moment and think, what are 3 things, or for the sake of time, 1.
No, 3.
Okay, 3.
I like
What are
that.
3
Okay.
things that you know will impact your business in a positive way that you've been scared to do?
the ceiling when you're done. It's fine. You could pray, ask for what you need. It's perfect. Whatever works for you. Taking it all in. So, for those of you who are finishing up, take your time to finish up. I'd like to hear from 2 people so far tonight. What have you learned? You. Yeah, I've been feeling it all night. I wasn't sure if it was this one or later. Oh, okay, breathe. It's okay. What's your name? Kate. Okay. Go ahead, Kate.
What really got me is when you said, have people be seen because you matter. That my brain has been slow ever since.
And what about that is having it flow? What got you? Breathe. It's okay. It's okay. Give tissue. Totally safe. We're totally right here with you.
That it's okay to be ashamed of yourself and the choices that you made.
Yes, because the choices that you've made are not who you are. The choices that we make are just learning opportunities to grow into what we're here to do. There's a thing that I learned in my master's program that was we are not human beings with a soul, but rather we're divine beings having a human experience. And as divine beings having a human experience, we come here to learn what we need to learn and give away those lessons that we're so uniquely programmed or created to learn and give away. And it's when we hold on to them and try to avoid the very things that Kate is talking about that have us feel ashamed, that we limit what our soul curriculum is here to teach.
I'm so sorry.
It's perfect. Let it go, girl. Let it go. Tears are moving energy. It allows the truth to come. Tears are nothing to be ashamed of. Tears are nothing to hide from. Tears are simply the movement of energy of your truth. It's allowing you to have a truth. So there are times when you've seen me here tonight straight with people. There are times when you've seen me here tonight gentle and mommy and soft. There are times when you'll see me cheering and excited and loud and big, because all those parts of me are important along my soul curriculum to connect with the people I'm here to connect with, to be the space for the people I'm here to be the space for. And each one of you is that space for people. So Kate, no matter what those things are, the process of letting them come to the surface and not judging yourself for them anymore, but allowing the healing to occur by recognizing you're not alone, you're not the only one, and by giving the right people an appropriate access to that allows you to let go of the shame around it and step into the lesson that it is. Not just for you, but for everybody here. So it doesn't mean like go around and be a therapist for everybody, but what it does mean is getting to a place inside of yourself where you're aware that it was a necessary experience in order to walk your talk, in order to find your truth, in order to be more powerful, in order to trust, in order to grow, in order to own, in order to give someone else the permission to have their shame and work through it and let it go and not be wrong their whole life for it. It's one of our greatest things is when we see that, when we acknowledge that and let it come forward. That moment where she went, ugh, I'm so sorry, those moments allow a massive release of the energy that keeps it, it's like a plug, that keeps it in because you're so upset you don't want anybody to know the truth. So thank you for sharing that with us. You don't have to share anymore right now, but thank you so much much for sharing with us. It's really fun.
You said beautiful.
Okay. So one other thing that I learned from my master's program. So let me just check in for a second. Kate, so you just shared that with a lot of people. Are you the type of person that prefers to let that be yours and not have a bunch of people ask you about it after, or do you mind if people talk to you after?
I'm okay with
Okay, great. And are you okay with people giving you hugs? Because there's a lot of people in here that want to.
Yes.
Okay, great. So when we're done, you're welcome to give her hugs. Awesome. And you guys, it's really important to honor a person's process. When people have energy move like that, sometimes touching them takes them out of their process. So really, before you go and give someone a big old hug because you feel them, ask them permission before you touch them. Because if you touch them, you can also take it on. And we don't want to energetically give our energies back and forth to each other when it's not complete in the healing, okay? So one other thing in my master's program that I learned and is the fundamental thing I live my life by. I absolutely govern my life by this. It was so like, oh my God, I'm so glad there's words to say this. And I could not articulate this before I heard it, but since I've heard it, I live my life by this. Who here has ever had the experience? Just breathe, just breathe. It's totally fine, it's now coming. Just breathe. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Everybody do it together. Ready? In through your nose. And open your chest. Ah, let it out as a sound. Again, one more deep breath in. And let it out as a sound. Ah. She's in everybody's energy around her too. Why don't you pull your chair over here so you're not around other energy and just be inside of your energy. Just grab your chair and pull it over here. Great. Perfect. Awesome. These are little things, you guys, that as you know how to deal with people as they go through things, there's no shame, there's no blame, there's no judgment. They stay out of that because it's not such a big deal. Okay, great, she's having some stuff go through her. Perfect. All right, go over there, handle it. We'll be with you in a minute. It's great. But when you make it big or heavy or, oh my God, we're in the judgment. We're enrolled inside of the story, and that's not what serves her. What serves her is she's moving through it, and we get to move through it with her. Yes?
Yes.
Awesome. So sometimes in those moments, you want to move the energy with people. So if you ever have someone in your team who's really gotten emotional about something or has a big feeling, you all want to like move the energy. It's like moving your body or moving your arms or flapping or stomping or getting your hands wet and getting water on them. There's like energetic things that will ground you as you move through energy. Okay? Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath over there. So this is a comment that I love. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful to me. So who in here has ever said the sentence to themselves in the privacy of their own mind chatter or out loud, I'm not worthy? Okay, great. So what are you not worthy of? Perfect, Lindsay. Just one thing. I'm sure there's a long list. Go ahead, one thing.
My surroundings? Or
Whatever, when you raised your hand, whatever came to your awareness.
I haven't been grateful for what I have right now. So I haven't been worthy of what is right now.
Great, perfect. Who else? Yes.
I'm not worthy of the great life I get to live.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
I'm not worthy of ultimate success.
Not worthy of ultimate success. Anybody else? Yeah.
Of having a love for the dog.
Okay.
Love me.
Yeah. Or do you not have that conversation?
I've never said it.
Okay, great. Anybody else that said it? You raised their hand? Yeah.
Some of the people I love most.
I'm not worthy of some of the love. Okay, great. Anybody else? Ishi?
Not worthy of my pain.
Not worthy of my kids. Cindy?
I'm not worthy to receive love
How worthy to be CEO? You guys can be ridiculous too. It doesn't have to be so serious. Who else isn't worthy of something? I'm not worthy of my family over here. Yes? Happiness. I'm not worthy of happiness. Alex? Ultimate success in modeling. Awesome. So you have these conversations in your mind. Some of them are conversations you made up, and some of them are conversations you heard someone say near you, to you, or around you, and all of a sudden you decided, oh, that must be right about me too. So here's the truth if you choose to believe it too. This isn't what I believe in. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, I'm going to give it to you. When you were born, and you got to come to this planet, by default, you are worthy. You don't get to be in a body. You don't get to have your divine experience if you are not worthy of it. Worthiness is not a product of action or results or success. Worthiness is a product of birth. So now that you're all worthy, sorry to break it to you, now what are you worthy of? Because that conversation is an empowering conversation that creates a future for you. So what are you worthy of? You're worthy of everybody you love. Yes, Marilyn, what are you worthy of?
To be a leader.
To be a leader, what are you worthy of? Anything you want. What are you worthy of? Your life. What are you worthy of, Kate? Joy! Happiness! Love! Great things that I want! Everything I ever dreamed of! Alex, what are you worthy of? Successful modeling. What else? Successful modeling. What else? What else? Deeper. Yeah, like in this part of your body. Right, real love and happiness. Thank you very much. Yes, dear. Authentic relationships. Gerald, what are you worthy of? Massive success. Tanner, what are you worthy of? He's having a worthiness conversation over there. Watch it happening. Look at him. Make him feel uncomfortable about it. You're worthy. Hate to break it to you. What are you worthy of?
I'm worthy of being honest.
Great. You're worthy of honesty. Great. What are you worthy of? Yes, you? Awesome. We're going to do a little thing. I'm going to look at each one of you, and I would like you to say, I am worthy of love. Go. Thank you. I am worthy of love. You get to say it too. You probably know it better than everybody in the room. Yes, you are. Go ahead. I am worthy of love. Yes. Yes, don't just say it. That's right. Feel it. Thank you. Yes, you are. Thank you. I am worthy of love. Mm-hmm.
I'm worthy of love.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
I'm worthy of love.
Thank you.
I'm worthy of love.
Yes, you are. Nafisa.
I'm worthy of love.
I'm worthy of love.
Put your hand on your heart and say it again.
I am worthy of love.
Thank you.
I'm worthy of love. I am worthy.
Why are you nervous about it? Open your hands and say it. Open your hands like that. What are you doing? You really are worthy of love. There you go. Thank you. Say it one more time. There you go. Don't hide from it. Stand up. No, hold on. Stand up. Louder. Louder.
I'm worthy of love.
Louder.
I'm worthy of love.
Really loud! I am worthy of love!
I am
Damn it. So close.
I'm worthy of love.
Don't want to be close to not being called out on
I'm worthy of love.
that. No,
I'm worthy of love
why?
because I'm worthy.
Ooh, that was a little personal development. Where do you feel it? Yeah, it's a great place to feel it. Hold it for a minute. Yep. Hold his hand. You touch his back. Close your eyes. No one's looking at you. Don't worry about it. Keep your eyes closed. Just see yourself worthy of love. Whatever picture comes to mind, just see it. What would be the picture of you worthy of love? You have a picture? Stop chewing your gum. It will distract you. Don't chew it. Just put it inside your mouth. Yes. Perfect. Find your picture. Find your picture. Okay. Breathe. Find your picture. Found it?
Yeah.
Good. Open your eyes. Let go of the hands. Take your hands off of him. Perfect. What's your picture?
It's a mountain.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. And are you on it?
No, I'm looking at it.
Okay. And how big is it?
Medium large.
And why is that your picture?
I honestly have no idea.
Do you like mountains? Do you like to be on those? Does it mean so? Like, is it there was a destination? What's a mountain?
It's so low. It's it's overcoming.
Now stand.
I am worthy of love.
Body positioning that causes you to land inside your body. If you are out of your body and in your mind, you will not be able to get to love. You won't have access to the places inside of you that feel it. But when he left being right about it and started getting into the story about it and started actually thinking about it, did you see his hands raise up? And they didn't raise up in protection of him, which they were doing before down here. They raised up like this, and then he was able to say it. And him believing whether it actually landed for him isn't what I'm worried about. It's the experience up here. Because for you, most likely you'll judge it to a certain degree. So it may not actually land for you, but just so you know, it landed out here. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah?
I am worthy of love.
No, you're playing around with this.
No, I'm worthy of love.
Now, thank you. Okay?
I am worthy of love.
I'm worthy of love.
I am worthy of love.
I am worthy of
I'm worthy of love.
I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of love. Yes, yes, leg awesome. Come on. Close your eyes. Your arms up. Close your eyes. Another one. Close your eyes and stop. Perfect. See, no one's looking at you at all. Close your eyes. I'm worthy of love. Really well. I'm worthy of love. Thank you. Not your friend.
shirt.
Great. Shirt that just went up. You know, these bonus classes don't always go exactly as I planned.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yes, it's 9:04. So amazing, you guys. Amazing shares, amazing connection. I feel like there was a lot of one-on-one coaching that happened inside of that, and I don't want to keep you too late. So the first thing that I want to do is encourage you to recognize there is a lot of stuff you can get just by asking someone what they learned. So when you have your team experiences, when you have your meetings, when you're working with a client, ask them mid-sentence sometimes. So what did you just learn? What did you just hear for yourself? What did you just see? Do you have any questions? Don't keep talking and talking and talking and talking, trying to be of service. Find out if what you already shared landed. And then give people their space to connect to what you just asked. Have that moment. See them. Because when you see them, then they'll know that they make a difference. And just to get business on you, retention goes up when they matter. When they feel like you see them and you care about their answer, or you care about what they're actually saying, retention goes up. People stick around. People are curious about what you're going to ask them next. So are there any questions? Sure. Are there any questions about tonight? Yes, Lindsay.
What was your intention for the
My intention was to provide you guys with a very safe space to create what you wanted to see for yourself, to give you access to what you wanted to see. Because I can't come in here and have an agenda and a plan for what you're going to get. I can only offer what I see. So I wanted to create a space for you guys to see it. Yes, Karen.
What did you learn in this class?
Thank you. I have never been asked. Thank you. So, number one, I learned again the incredible courage that happens when in a space of people, even if you're strangers, you create safety. So, I had no idea that Kate would share something very profound and meaningful for her. I didn't know that Marilyn would say yes when I called on her. I didn't know that you listened to me when I asked you to stand up and clap, but I don't know. There are many environments where people aren't a yes. So what I learned is the power of a yes, the power of courage, and the power of a really safe space. Thank you for asking that. Love that. It's for being you. It's awesome. Yes. Can you say your name, because I don't know all of you, and I would just love to know.
I'm sorry, my name is Edwin J.
Say it again.
Edwin J.
Edwin. Thank you. Jacob.
What are the inner resources exactly that you need to take care and transform resolve issues in your life?
Okay, good. Great. Did anybody else wonder what inner resources were? Thank you for asking. There's a bunch of heads nodding just in case. So, inner resources are all the tools, all the gifts, all the knowledge, all the intuition, all of the love, all of the ways that your system, your operating system, the way you be, serves you. So, if I were to teach you about how to listen differently, that would now become a resource of yours. And then if you were to teach that to someone, there would be inner resources that you have called what my mother taught me, what my teacher taught me, what I learned when I fell off my bike, what I learned when someone wasn't nice to me, what I learned, and all those little learnings become your inner resources. So you have all these answers to all the problems in the universe. We're all collectively one consciousness, if you really want to go esoteric and spiritual here. So if we're all one, then when we each come into our own bodies, the divine beings having a human experience, if we come into our own bodies, we're still part of the resources. We still have access to that knowing. The problem is that someone told us that we weren't smart enough, Or someone told us that you couldn't do it. Or someone told us that in order to be successful, you had to A, B, and C. And so all of a sudden, you didn't think, I have those resources yet. You thought, oh, that must mean I have to go learn something. That must mean I have to go be someone. That must mean I have to go do something. And until you've learned that, be that, or done that, you think you don't have it, but you do. You just may need to cultivate it. You may need to see it. You may need to package it. You need to learn, step A, B, and C in the order that it works best for you. But you have A, B, and C in you. You just get to learn how to use what you already have. So in these kinds of programs and in transformational work and in awareness work and in personal development work, you get to start seeing what you know. It just starts becoming available to you. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'm listening. This is that direction.
Okay, great. Perfect. And you can ask again. It's no problem.
How do you hold for so many people and then have room for yourself? Or do you have room for yourself?
And her husband.
And
And her
three
family.
kids.
And her 3 kids, yes.
Do you want to answer that question?
She doesn't.
She doesn't? Or she...
She doesn't have room.
No, I do. I do have room for myself. So, for me, let me answer first, and then you can share. So for me, look, there's my experience of it, and there's Rachel's experience of it, and there's Jan's experience of it. So if you interviewed my kids, Rachel, and my husband, you'd probably get a different answer. But I'm going to share you what I experience. If my sole curriculum is to be of loving service on this planet, that's what I'm here to do, then whatever I'm giving away is filling me too. So I don't experience my life as giving it away. I experience it as getting. Every time I give, I experience it as, oh, good job, you did what you were supposed to do today. Oh, good job, you did what you were supposed to do today. Now, there are certain people with whom I reserve a little bit more special time with. I reserve intimate time with my husband and my husband only. That kind of time. I reserve yummy, cozy, cuddly mommy time differently with each one of my kids. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I reserve this beautiful, cuddly, cozy time with my 8-year-old like no other. She demands it, she stands for it, and she lets me know, Mommy, you promised you would be here. Why aren't you? I need you. And sometimes I have to say, because I've been giving to a lot of people on the planet, and you chose me. And then she'll say, well, you chose me too, and I need you. And then I get to decide how I'm going to manage my time around that request. But her request is around her. So for me, it's what is the way in which I give where I don't feel like I'm leaving the people who I have some soul contracts or some arrangements with. What if they're feeling depleted? How do I give to them a little bit more certain times? So it's a dance. There's not a way, and there's not the only way, and I grow and learn when I'm stretched even further than what I know how to handle.
Okay, I was going to share a little differently. So the first thing is holding for people, like many actions, it comes from a muscle. So this is something that she's developed over time. So, it's almost like in the business. You start with one member, or one distributor, or one coach, and then you get more, and then you get more, and then you learn, and you develop that muscle on how to really hold for so many people. So she's got Garen arms in there for holding people, She has this extraordinary ability now. And she holds for so many people. So that's one thing. It's come over time. Another one is, like she said, it's not giving away. It's really she's getting. She's just receiving so much. Like us being in front of the room right now, receiving so much. It's
you
such
have no
a gift.
idea the conversation we're going to have when we get
It's
to
such
the
a
top.
gift.
Amazing! Wow! I'm gonna get out of here and skip home. It's so great.
It's such
You
a
guys are so loving. You're so open, so generous of your heart to give to us in this way.
It's amazing. So it's such a gift. So in terms of receiving. So that's another one. The third thing is, and please confirm that this is accurate, is she also doesn't take on people's weight. So a lot of people are judging themselves and they're seeing their issues as problems, and she's seeing it as, yes, another opportunity to grow. Yes, I'm so glad you're dealing with this. I know it may not be fun to be going through it, but it's going to be extraordinary for you. And so it's not like she's carrying a backpack. You know, every time she has a conversation with someone and they share something heavy, she doesn't put a brick in her backpack.
I let go of that guy a while ago.
Yeah.
But only, so it wasn't always that way. Like 8 years ago is how I really started learning to not hold the bricks. Up until 8 years ago, I was holding a lot of bricks. And it was waking up every morning crying. I mean, it was intense. So it took time.
Yeah, and so it's really seeing the blessing that people, like the challenges are for them. And that these are the lessons that they need to learn in order to grow, in order to be their greatest selves, in order to be the contribution on the planet that they get to be. Did that answer your question?
Thank you for asking that, Barry.
What's your name? Karis. Thank you. Did you have a different question? You're good? Okay. Great. Tara?
In regards to Harris's question, I actually asked Melinda that very same question when I went to her house for the next level 3. And the way she had described it was very, very transformational in my own personal journey, because I would tend to be a martyr to situations because I didn't think I was worthy, so I would give an empty cup and fill other people up. But in regards to what Monica explained it to me, that made sense to what Jan just said, was her ability to filter and to not take on everything about everyone all the time. And I know I've seen that with Jan as well, where he's not ignoring people, he's taking in the best of what that person is not even saying, so he doesn't judge them based on the things that come out of their mouth, or the energy they're sending that's not productive for that situation. And that blew my mind when Monica expressed that to me. And it's so interesting to hear so you guys understand, because we share a very similar mindset. So I just wanted to share that openly, if that would help anybody else, the ability to filter based on her intention is always for the greater good, so she knows how to filter. We're still learning that stuff, you know. So the filtering process of learning what to take into to lead. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Who in here has done the Next Level program? Or is currently doing it? Awesome. You want to stand up and just share a little bit of what you've gotten?
From the Next Level?
Mm-hmm.
It really shows you, the first couple of weeks is kind of getting into the group of things of how to be consistent in your business and to not just be all over the place. Personally, because I would have a lot of stuff on my board to do, but I didn't actually organize it to where I felt like I was effective enough within a time block and say, okay, this is the time I have, and I designated this time to do it, and if it goes past that time, okay, on to the next thing. And setting myself up that way has made it so that I'm able to complete a huge majority of my list before noon, which is like astronomical from what I used to be able to do. But really, the limiting belief, the limiting belief progress or process that we went through was really breaking down kind of what we do right now with saying I'm worthy. And it's taking those things in our business that we think are just surface level and breaking them all the way down almost to a child state to where it gets deep in that emotion, and then breaking that down and then reconstructing it to a new limiting belief that transforms who you are, so it strengthens you, and you can say, this is what I'm going to do to get there. And then having the support and accountability of not just one person, but everybody's looking at you, kind of like a Monica saying, hey, where are you at in this process? What are you doing on a constant level? So it creates the accountability of self, it creates the accountability of leveling with the team, and it creates, it sets you up so that the next time you come into the next call, you're not jumbling all over the place with, oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I not do? You've really grown week to week to week to week to week, because you're almost micro-analyzing yourself in everything that you do to build yourself up for the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you've gotten out of the program?
I can agree.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Kyron. I took Next Level 1 not knowing about this class. I already mentioned when we was at Culver, Mark Addy came out, y'all know we talked to the Sands. Hey, ask the person who invited you down about the Next Level bonus class, okay? Just come down. And I was like, I'm not gonna go to that. And then Gary called me one day and was like, take Next Level. And before that, I qualified for a promotion for Big Bear. When we go to a resort, we're in a house with all the rock stars, we do all this volume, and it's all the leaders that you see on stage, and everybody in the act organization coming together. And I didn't even want to go to that. I was like, no, I'm not going to no mountain with people I don't know. And then Sheriff, everybody has no Sheriff, right? Sheriff drove me there because I didn't want to even drive there. But that was like a great conversation we had. So I got there, and I just seen Garen like point to Monica, and then point to me. And then she came and did some kind of magical touch or something. It was the kinesthetic thing, and I was like, ugh. And then we had this whole conversation.
Y'all stared at each other for like 27 minutes.
It was crazy, you know what I mean? It wasn't hypnosis or anything spooky like that. It was just like a connection. And then it made me safe to be at Big Bear with a bunch of strangers I didn't know. And after that, when Garen told me to take the course, I took it without taking the bonus class. So it's me, literally, blindfold, laser vision, jumping into something. I didn't know what it was. Then I also didn't know that I was playing full out. She affirms things for you, and she affirmed things for me that I couldn't affirm myself, that Garen couldn't affirm, that my sidelines and other people couldn't do. You know what I mean? My experience with Next Level 1 was doing everything for the team, because how you show up there is how the team's going to show up for you. And not like my downline. You know what I mean? Y'all know my downline here. Not Eddie, not Karis, not anybody that y'all see here, but showing up for the team. And then I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. Once I started doing that, taking that full out, taking it full on, so many people across Herbalife started showing up for me. Like, it feels really good, and I'm sure you guys can agree. You've been to the STS, you've been to the LDW, right? When you go on stage, and instead of saying, hey guys, Terrence Speeds, North Hollywood, and they're like, woo! How good is it when you say, hey guys, I'm Terrence Speeds, North Hollywood, ah! Like, it just, and when I felt that, I was like, that probably has something to do with Next Level. Because before I was doing it, it was just like, coming over to Garen's house, hey Garen, I want to do some volume, okay, bye, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to do my own fit camp, do my own shred camp, I'm going to do street cardio, it's all about me, it's I do top volume, it's me, it's my team, I'm going to stay at home, I'm going to sit on my computer, I'm going to do my own workout, y'all go play with them Saturday, whatever, I'll bring my guests, I'm going to make it about me, my team, team name, I, me, Kyra, me, not Herbalife, just me, you see I did it, look, there I go, I'm going. But when you show up full out and you play with people, everything, I'm talking about everything. I'll be honest, I didn't want to take Next Level 3. But you know why I took it? Because I still wasn't seeing the light in myself, but it was at an STS, and Monica kind of pulled me to the side, and I think I did a panel, and I did something, and she pulled me to the side, and I don't even know what she said to me, but I was like, Monica, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. Because she said some words to me, and it really touched me. It was like the same Big Bear all over. I was like, ugh. I was like, yes, what is it? And I played it cool, like she's seen it, she sees everything. Like if you put a chair up here, she can see the light in the chair and have a conversation. And it's a chair, she's talking to the chair. And she was talking to me, and I like played it cool. I said, yeah, I'll take the Next Level 3, I'll take it, I'll play it. She went and sat down, and I was like, like I was like that. Like I was ecstatic, because it's like you have to earn that. Like you gotta earn to be able to play. So I know you said make it brief, but guys, I'm telling you, like, this stuff is just, and then you guys, like, I'm on my second course, and I took it without even knowing the history behind it. Like, yeah, I sat on the calls, you know, like Brenda's in there right now. Sean is in New Orleans, she couldn't be here, but she's in it right now too. And it was like I didn't get what you guys got tonight. So I just want to say, you know, last thing, I implore you to really, like, even if you don't take the course, just take on some of the things that she gave you tonight. Like, really take it on, like, not like, I'm going to do it because the successful people do it. No, do it for you, like, take it on. Like, the drills were really good. Like, I was over there like, oh my God, I wish I would have did it. So we're building it better, guys. You guys, it's so much better now. So just, can we agree that we're going to take, say, I'm going to take it on? I'm going to take it on. Good, they're going to take it on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
So let me just tell you in 2 minutes what you're taking on. So you'll take on all of that, what you experienced tonight, whatever your unique experience was, you will have more of those. You will have probably a lot more questions and a lot more stuff of yours come forward to look at and play with and deal with and move through. Remember, it's not about fixing yourself or changing your situation. It's really about healing the things that aren't working so that you can get access to more of who you're supposed to be on this planet. And the more you uncover that, the more greatness you have around you because you start seeing it in other people as well. So in Next Level 1, you set powerful intentions, you work on achieving goals, we work on really looking at identifying, transforming, and dealing with the biggest obstacle that's preventing you from moving forward in your business. Helps you really develop a success mindset and a leadership mindset. We deal with a lot of tribal leadership now as the new conversation, so you'll get a lot of training in what does it mean? The words that underneath the words that you read and that you hear, there's deeper meanings on how to actually cultivate a leadership tribe. So we work on building our tribes. It's Monday mornings. It starts on May 12th. It is every Monday for 8 weeks straight. We will, it's from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You will get an accountability partner, so you can't hide. No, just kidding. You will get a pod. So a pod is led by a MIL team or PRES team member that's in the ADDIE org that helps hold you to another level of accountability with a small group. So you basically get a one-on-one coach that you get to work with every day. You will go on Facebook and be posting notes, inspiration, stories, what you learned. You'll get a group of people that will support your goals, your dreams, or when you play small because you don't think that you matter. You will have the team, the big team of people that are on the calls every week. And then from that conversation, you'll be doing work that allows you to release some of the things that you've been holding on to for a long time. So for those of you who are completing the Next Level 1, the Next Level 2 is available, and depending on the amount of people that participate in it, it's either going to be available in May or it will be available not until September. And what happens is it's Active World Team and above, which is a position in the marketing plan that a lot of people from Active Supervisor to Active World Team are moving and ramping up their teams and ramping up the way that they feel comfortable, like Gerald said, facing their fears and dealing with what's underneath that. So sometimes it's not just an 8-week or 12-week or, that kind of process. It takes a little bit longer, so I often do 2 Next Level 1s before I do the next Level 2. So just as a heads up to you. So that's what's available. I can't ever remember if there's stuff that I'm leaving out. So tonight you have the opportunity to register. If you know you're ready, you can register tonight. If you register tonight, you will receive a gift that's from me, and you only receive it if you register from a bonus class. What? Oh, it's $300. Thank you. It's $300, and because it starts in May, we do offer a payment option. If you want to pay in full, perfect. If you'd like to do a payment option, we just request that you work that out with us, and the intention is that that payment request happens by the class. So, yes, is there anything I'm leaving out? Okay, great. So if you'd like to register tonight, Jan or Rachel will be helping you with the registration. If you have more questions and you want to get them handled before you're clear that you want to register, please come talk to me or talk to Jan. And if you are not ready to register yet because you're a supervisor or you're a senior consultant or you're new to the business, then what I recommend that you do is create an accountability partnership to how you are actually going to get to your active supervisor status so you can participate in the course. Those people who have come to me after a bonus class and said, I'm going to be in it, I'm going to save up for it, and I say to them, every day, pick a dollar amount that you're going to do. Take the $300, divide it by the amount of time that it's going to take you to hit active supervisor, and put that money into one of your Herbalife canisters every single week. Because if you do that, then you won't have the conversation of anything in the way of you being able to do it by the time the course comes again. The course goes black, so I close for extravaganza in July. So July and August, there will be no courses. They start up again back in September. So you have that time after the May program to hit active supervisor, which is going to be another 90-day plan after extravaganza. who here's going to Extravaganza? So that is just insight for you as a lofty goal or a progress report. Get yourself some milestones to get you there after Extravaganza. Any more questions for anybody?
I have.
Yes.
On behalf of Team Urban Heroes, Garen Jones, Tara Malia being from Hawaii, everybody in the room, we just wanted to present you and Jan with a small token. And it's going to be presented by Gabriela Serrano. This basket represents abundance. As you can see, it has fruits from all over. And Gabriella, the contribution queen of Urban Heroes, put it together for you. And we got as many people to sign the card as secretly as we could for you guys.
Thank you.
So thank you guys on behalf of everybody.
Thank you, everybody. So please feel free to ask questions and see Rachel. Yes, thank you. Yay!
I was very much interested because I am going to be out of the country in June, so I'm going to have like, my sister has cancer, and that was the trip she wanted to go. So we're going to go to the Bible Walk. So we leave on the 13th and come back on the 2nd. So I'm going to be okay. So I thought I will be